What's good, everybody? My name is Jack Dawkins. Welcome to season 4 of Stage Dive. For those of you who've been listening, you know that the podcast traditionally has been about tips and tricks that make great performances on stage. How to prepare, how to rehearse, how to navigate an audience. But this season, I feel like we've leaned more into a new category, which is the origin story of all of these artists. How did each of these performers become the person, the performer, the artist that they are today? How did they go from zero to getting on stage? And how do they navigate all of the bumps and twists and turns that make the creative journey both beautiful and really challenging? I was blown away by all of our guests this season, and I really, really hope you enjoyed this. My guest on the podcast today is Cindy Arena. She is a stand-up comedian, though she didn't start until she was nearly 50 years old. And so as she frames it, she is often running around with kids half her age, and in some cases even younger than her own children. But she brings a really wonderful perspective to the podcast about how important storytelling is, and how as she has gone deeper and deeper into comedy, she's discovering more and more things that not only she wants to do and see, but how she wants to improve and continue to work on her craft. It's a really, really great podcast for anyone who has ever asked the question, am I too old to start? We would say no. Please enjoy the conversation with Cindy. Cindy, my first question for you is, what is it like starting comedy at, let's call it, later in life than many people do?
Well, you're right. Let's be realistic here. I started 5 years ago, and I'll be 61 years old. And I am plus the pandemic. So I'm very new. It's crazy. I'm the only one out here at this level right now because I like to say they've either made it, quit, or died by my age. I know it's harsh, but it's a fact,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Right.
You're not wrong.
Right. I mean, so people just starting out, yeah. It's exhausting and exciting. Is so many highs and lows, but I think it's the same with people in general in any type of an entertainment business, But for me, it's very strange because I am surrounded by 20 somethings.
Yeah.
Surrounded.
Right.
These are my peers.
Right.
I'm on the road with the kids.
I imagine there are times when you can look at a 24-year-old and be like, God, I'm so jealous of the fact that you don't get hangovers. You can you can not sleep. You can do all these things and have it not be a problem. But I have to guess, there's also moments where I'm so fucking happy I'm 61.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm not dealing with the shit that you are navigating in your 20s, because I was there and I did it. I don't want to do that again.
Right. I don't really party. I don't drink. I'm allergic to alcohol pretty much. So that saved me from that. But, part of me though, these young kids that I'm with, at my level doing comedy, I have the up because I've got so much more life experience to pull from.
Totally.
And when I see a young comic, just killing it, like Taylor Tomlinson, she's a child still. I think my kids are older than her.
Right.
She's on her second Netflix special, and I'm like, she doesn't have half that life experience, but she is such a good writer and a good comic,
Yeah.
And so I admire these young kids that are out there killing it.
Yeah.
I really do, because it's tough. I'm a storyteller, and they kill it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And clean comics, it's another one I admire.
That's an art form. It's an art form.
Am I right? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I also love the word fuck, and so part of me is I understand why it's so valuable to be able to do that, and how hard it is to have to choose your language so thoughtfully. Whereas if I'm not editing, I can just sort of be myself. But
yeah. And it's always the content too, though. You know what I mean? The premise, and to be clean is just, man, it's not even about I can get rid of the swear words, but it's not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I walk a line.
I think I would also say there are people who are clean comics, but who still talk about really edgy things.
But they do it so crafty.
They do, but I actually find people who talk about ordinary, boring shit without, this is why Seinfeld is so amazing. He is never talking about anything particularly interesting getting a cab, going out to dinner. Like, it's not perverse at all. And
Mm-mm.
it's so fucking funny because his ability to just observe human behavior and point out how weird we all are is like, it's immediately relatable. It's hilarious. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's the stuff that really, really impresses me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got some local comics I work with, and they're very clean, and they're always like, "Oh, is there anything you can do? You know, I like to use you on the show." And I'm like, it's just, I mean, I've got to be authentic to myself. So
Totally.
me writing like specific clean comedy, you know, it's not going to be me, and people are going to see through that.
Yes. Yes. 100%. So,
You
like,
know,
what were you doing before? Or, like, I don't know if I
yeah.
want to ask what you were doing before as much as I want to ask, like, what what was the moment or what were the events that led to you being like, fuck it, I'm going for this?
Right. So I've got a severe attention deficit. So my entire life, and I'm very like artistic, and I'm always doing like, I'm painting, I'm podcasting, I had a radio show. You know, learning different programs on the computer for no reason. I also do photography. Um so it's always like I have to have something to keep. I had to have something. You know what I mean? Like, on top, I worked in a restaurant for many years. I just
Mm,
quit. 20 years in a restaurant.
wow.
Um, but I had to have something else. I just had to be like creating, you know, no matter what it was. So all my life, people have always said, you know, Cindy, you should think about doing comedy. You're so funny. I'm like, yeah, but am I socially funny only? You know, I'm very
Mm,
funny at a party. You know, I'm funny, you know. And saw a Facebook thing popped up that was a local comedy class, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this. What the hell?" Because I'm also was always taking some type of class,
sure.
always, whether it's pottery, learning Photoshop. You know what I mean? I was always like little local. I'm gonna take this comedy class. So I took it, and which it was great because I couldn't believe, as such a huge comedy fan I was, how I did not understand the back end of it.
Right.
Time, tags, punchlines, type five. I didn't, you know what I mean? It was just, I guess I don't know why I never researched that, you know? So I'm like, oh, okay, I've learned the basics. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to go to an open mic and wing it. And I remember the guy that was teaching the class locally. He was like, "You're not ready to go to an open mic." I was like, what the hell?
We'll see.
What are you talking about? That's ridiculous, right? So yeah, so I did. I went to the open mic. You know, I did very well, again, surrounded by, you know, some are a little bit older, but not my age, that had been doing it, like that were here, had featuring for headliners, the whole thing. And I held my own. I held my own. So I'm like, I'm going to continue, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what. So it got crazy. So there was a comedy contest, a local, like upstate. Okay, Syracuse, Buffalo, Rochester. A lot of those people would join, and it was the big local club here that did it.
Cool.
And it had an ad that said, "Go from couch to microphone and do this contest." I thought, well, that's me.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's do
Right,
it.
man. I'm going from the couch. So I signed up for it, started to go to a couple more open mics, started to realize all the other people doing it were in doing it some 10 years.
Wow.
Some on the road already. You know what I mean? Featuring for, and I'm like, holy cow, I'm going to look like a jerk. I, I had 6 weeks in zero material. So I went to open mic every night, and I even drove an hour and a half to Buffalo on the nights we didn't have any here,
Mm,
do open mics there. And I just like pounded, you know, the mics, and was just writing and just trying to do the best I could. And I ended up winning the whole contest.
holy shit. That's amazing.
So it was, you know, and then that slowly got me, well, they did get me in the door at the club hosting.
Mm.
And so it was just, that's how it started. But because of my age, I'm definitely more on I grind very, very hard. And I'm like, I don't have 20 years like these younger kids do.
Totally.
You know, I'm like, listen, I got a year. I got one good year left, dude. And if I can't do something in this 1 year, I'm out, man. It's yeah. I should be on a beach somewhere resting, you know?
I mean, maybe I like
Yeah. Well,
when I am 61, the chances of
yeah.
me being on a beach are fucking zero. Can't tell you what I'm going to be doing, but beaching is not is not
Well,
going to be it.
you know, I don't have any pension or retirement, so I'm pretty sure I'm just going to have to do something work-wise till I die. Like that's my retirement plan.
Yeah.
Isn't that mostly the Gen X? You know what I mean? It's like, what's your retirement plan? Death.
Yeah, keep working
Yeah.
forever,
Right?
basically.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like if you. So I actually have two questions, and you can be as mean or not mean as you want.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think your teacher was hesitant to encourage you to go to a mic? Because I think like I don't teach stand up, but if I did, I sort of feel like my general MO would be like, I don't care if you suck. In fact, it's better if you suck because you need to bomb.
Yeah.
You need to know what that feels like and then decide you want to keep doing it.
Right.
Because
So
like,
it was
go ahead. Sorry.
no. It's fine. You're right. And the person who was teaching, I don't think he was like, it was just a little local class. He was never like, he never even worked at the big club here.
Okay.
What do I know? I didn't know the comedy scene. I jump into this class, and after, you know, I started to be like, all right, well, you know, okay, so it was only $150, nothing painful, you know, no big deal.
Right.
And I learned the basics that I needed to, and I've taken several classes since from headlining comics because I think it's an age thing too. Don't you think the older you are, the more knowledge you want of what you're doing is, I mean, just try to learn everything there is to learn. That's how I am.
Yeah, I think like yes, unequivocally. And I think because you know yourself better, you're better able to understand what pieces of that knowledge you want to apply and which ones you want to leave. I feel like when you're young and you're just starting, you'll try anything. You'll try characters, you'll try physical comedy, you'll try anything you
Mm-hmm.
can because you're still navigating. Like you arrived with a pretty good knowledge of like, this is who I am, this is how people find me funny, this is what I know is unique about me. These are the places I can lean in. It's like, this is going to seem non sequitur, but go with me. Like, so I got a graduate degree in business, and the whole marketing pitch of getting a business degree is that you take the time that you're there to figure out what you want to do and then go do it. And it's bullshit advice because actually, if you went and had 2 years where you knew what you wanted to do and you got to explore all the different ways to do it, you would come out in such a better place. And so like anyway, does that resonate?
Yes, absolutely. Another thing I did notice is a lot of the younger comics were not eager to get any type of help from anyone. They were
Interesting.
like, I know, I'm
Ah,
funny. You don't tell me. You know what I mean? And so I never offer anybody advice who doesn't ask, you
yeah,
know, or vice, you know what I mean? But I did notice that a lot of the older that are, you know, a few of the older comics are like, oh, you know, would you like some advice or whatever? And I'm always like, yeah.
right.
So I think I really do think it's an age thing where like the older you get, we realize, you know what, there's always much more we can learn. We don't have that cocky, arrogant attitude. Like we kind of grew out of that, like
Mm,
fearless, like, oh, we're the best. I do think a lot of young kids,
yeah.
and I
I
own a
mean,
couple, don't get me
what?
wrong. I've got two millennial daughters. I own some.
Right, right. I mean, I think part of it is also you got put on your ass enough times, right? It's like life will show you the way.
Yeah.
Like you can only carry that attitude for so long before at some point life is just like, you don't get it, do you? Like this ain't the way. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
And I do think,
Okay.
right. I think it takes some people like, you know, when you're
Takes time.
23, 24, 25, you're fearless still.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't get nervous when they get on stage. They think they killed every time. It's just I'm like I wish I could
Interesting.
have that much of
Mm,
their confidence.
yeah. Super interesting.
Yeah.
Um, the other question I wanted to ask, like, you won this contest,
Yeah.
amazing. Like, obviously, you worked very, very hard to put on a great set, and you did. What What do you think was about you or your set that allowed you to so quickly like make an impact?
I think that I'm different. I'm 60-year-old at the time, 50, 55. You know what I mean?
Right.
My material is I'm a storyteller,
Right.
so I believe I have a lot to pull from. I was brought up in the porn business. My father owned strip clubs, all the adult bookstores when I was growing up. So I have so many stories about that. They're just it's I'll tell 'em, last night I did 45 minutes, and I'm like, you know what? It was a small little like bar out in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, I'm just going to throw out some stories that I haven't made jokes out of yet. Right? I'm just going to do that tonight. Let me, it's more like a story time. I'm like, um, and they're wild. And when I get off, and people are like this. Like, I think I really, for once, that was like the most I've shocked anyone, because I just like laid it all out there. And when I got off, they were like, none of that's true, right?
It's like, no,
I'm like, I just did 25 minutes about glory holes. What do you think? I made that up?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Was this a clean podcast? Because we're going downhill, dude.
Bring it downhill. This is new territory for me. I'm here for it. I mean, like, you couldn't ask, like, I imagine there were aspects of that were unique and challenging while you were growing up, but like, as a storyteller, you can't ask for a better treasure trove. Like,
right.
Because not only are the stories interesting, but no one else has them. Like, I cannot think of a single story or comedian who is ever introduced as like, I grew up in the porn business.
Right. With ass. Right. Yeah. But, and of course I will throw some ridiculous things in that aren't true. You know what I mean? Just for like the tag, it's just the premise. I mean, I do a bit about going to see the dancing dolls as a child. And that's when they're dancing and the curtain goes up and you get to put the money in and she dances. And, my day, I wanted to go to see them. Right. Because at first I thought it was a puppet show. When I heard now that's all I wanted for allowance was those coins, because I wanted to go put those coins in, and my father let me, and it was amazing because I got to see my mother every day. That's not true, but I stick it in at the end. I'm like, listen, that was not true, that part, but yeah, you got to put something in there for more humor.
Yes.
But yeah, that would be traumatizing though. Shit.
Yeah,
I haven't had therapy. That would have been like on the top of the list. I got to go watch my mother strip behind the glass every day. That's crazy.
Even better. That's what my allowance was for. It's like it's like a particular brand of fucked up that makes it even weirder. It's like, I made my bed so that.
Right. Well, that's not a bit yet. It's just a story that I told, and I just threw that out at the end, and they were like, oh, it worked. I'm like, oh, maybe this could be a good joke. So it was one of those nights.
Yeah.
Videotape it, working things out, going back, watching it. Do you think it'll work? Is it too dark? How many people did I shock?
Right.
I'm
curious, like, you just sort of gave a sneak preview, but like, so you have a story. How does a story, like, I don't even know what you would call the finished product. Because, like, is it that a story becomes several bits? Yep. Is it that the story gets punched up? Like, what does that process look like?
Right. So it's a story. I did 3 different stories. One was the dancing dolls. One was a story about the glory hole. And another story is about my daughter getting in trouble for filming a porn on the school bus. Okay. But it sounds bad.
Yeah, it could be. It could be real bad. Doesn't have to be. I'll let you decide. You're the mom. It's not my place.
It was a mistake. It was like, you know what I mean? Like, they were exaggerating at the school, whatever, and I'm not one of those mothers that's like, my daughter would never. I'm the mother that's like, what'd my kid do?
Yeah.
And this was one of those situations where they were being crazy. But yeah, so I told those 3 stories, and it's a matter of writing it out, chopping out words, and then sticking in tags in between till I get to the punchline. If I can't do too many tags in between, I've got to bring it home with a killer, because they sat there and listened to my story for, let's say, a minute, which is a long, you know what I mean?
It's a long time on stage.
Right. But I do find sometimes, like last night, they were very quiet and they were all looking at me and they were all in. And I'm like, all right, because there's a few comics that you watch on Netflix. They are huge storytellers. They'll go a whole 2 minutes just.
Yep.
Mike Birbiglia, I believe. Isn't he a huge storyteller?
He's an amazing storyteller.
Yep.
Yeah. And honestly, like when I'm trying to get back into more of it now, but when I used to do it, it was those moments of silence that like, oh, you treasure them because like it's building of tension, right? And again, not in a way that is subversive or by making people squirm and get uncomfortable. It's like they want to keep listening, they want to know what happens, they're bought in to where this is going. And when you have people in that space, like, oh, it's so gratifying. My God, it's so gratifying.
I really do I do need to work on like a one woman show. So I'm not like up there cutting up my stories and worrying about tagging, where I can just kind of tell the story and it's just naturally going to flow into a punch, but they know that's what they're there for.
Right.
We're here for comedy/story.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm so new that I would love to do that though for like for a Fringe festival show.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
My lesbian genes are strong though. I made one. I made a lesbian. Like we knew too. She came out of me wearing cargo shorts, holding a Tonka truck. I'm a mother. I am a mother of 2 dumb millennials. I have 2. My youngest daughter came home from school. She wants to go to college. Ma, I want to go to college. But no one in my family's ever gone to college. She'll be the first one. This is amazing. What do you want to go to school for, honey? She goes, agriculture. I go, what the fuck is that? Right? She tells me, Ma, I want to go to school to learn how to grow and sell my own marijuana. It's amazing, right? I'm not paying for that shit. I got her an internship with my local weed dealer. It was a win-win. And she's the first person in my entire family to ever graduate with high honors.
What's cool is like the editing process with comedy is like to the word, right? Like it is so hyper focused and specific and getting it leaner and tighter and as concise as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. And what's beautiful is like, cool, you have that tool belt now, you know how to do that. And now you get to juxtapose that against a longer form narrative, against allowing yourself to really just be in the story yourself and not be so laser focused on reaction.
Yeah. And I'm a very physical comic. So you know what I mean? I like really like, I get into the whole, and I didn't at first. And then I had a lot of people like, you really should lean into the faces you make and my pausing and the whole thing. So I've really been working hard on that too. But I have to say, most people are like, you were the most fun to watch. I'm like, all right, well, is that funny? All right, I'll take it. I was fun. You're so fun to watch. That's what they always say. I'm like, I'll take it.
I mean, I've been to a lot of shows with talented people that are not fun to watch. So like it's
so I take it, right?
Like rap is a particularly interesting genre because getting famous off of a song has nothing to do with your ability to captivate on stage. So I've watched people who have millions, if not billions of streams and they're on stage and they're at big venues and like, holy fuck, it's boring. Like, because
but when you listen on the radio or whatever, yeah, right. But then seeing them live they're just like,
it doesn't do anything to elevate the song. And so sometimes they try and just play the song and have you get the same reaction, but it's like, but I'm here to see you. I paid a lot. I could have listened to this in my fucking car. Like I'm here because I thought you would do something different on stage. And when they do, it's amazing. But I've seen a lot of people who are just kind of like vaguely there. And it's like,
yeah, I mean, it's very strange with music and entertainment, I mean, right now with Beyonce and Taylor Swift on tour, and it's so much more than the music at this point. It's the stage production, right? Yes. We see this. It's like going to an extremely elevated Broadway show at this point, with the costume changes and Pink. Pink is like, doesn't, but but boy, she kills it with that spinning. I don't know, whatever she's
Mhm.
doing. God bless her at her age. Yeah, but with music, it's so visual now. When it's
Yes.
not like when I was a kid, it was, they would just go up and I don't
Just
know.
play.
You know what though? We had the laser lights when I was a kid. Pink Floyd, all of that.
Yes.
It was more
Yes.
like, let's take acid and watch these lasers. And it wasn't even, it was, I guess that was the equivalent to now's huge stage shows
Yeah, that's a very
over
good
the
point.
years. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. So do rap cons? I've never really been since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Do they have big, or is there a lot of dancing behind them? The whole
There can be. So like I've seen them
Yeah.
have like big groups of choreographers, and they have a very specific, they almost have like a stage set. Like there's
Okay.
props, and you're almost
Right.
like in this environment they're kind of inviting you into, which is really
Yeah.
fun. Like I've seen some perform with a live band, which then allows, there can be solos. You can have the attention move to different people. Because one of the hardest things, if you're a rapper, it's like, it's just you. And at some point, like if it's just you, like people get tired of watching just you for a while. It's like, that's with comics. Like you need to make people laugh. You need to break up the energy.
We're up
You
there
need to
alone.
move
I don't
people.
have a big, wow. Going to see, have you gone to see comic in like a stadium have you ever seen anybody with like 40,000 people?
Never
do
that big
stand
of a
up,
venue. Never
do
that big of a
crazy
venue.
like that.
Yeah.
Right. I've been there. We have a stadium here, and I saw Sebastian
Maniscalco?
Yeah. Maniscalco. Just up there by himself in the round, nothing. An
Right.
hour and a half, annihilating it with. And when I sit there and look at it, and I think about what he is doing right now,
Yeah.
it's. Right.
It's
you know what I
unreal,
mean?
right?
You got the rapper just singing a song with some people, but think about being the only person. That's
Totally.
just a blank stage, nothing but a microphone and a spotlight.
Yes. Yes. And like it gives us something to aspire to, right? Because like you can add lasers and dancers and sets and et cetera, but like we have clear evidence that it is possible to be just one person on stage with nothing else and rivet people for 90 fucking minutes, right? Like
Crazy.
it is possible, but you like that's someone who has spent 20 years crafting, refining, touring, right? It's like,
Joe Coy's another one. He does those.
amazing.
I'm going to see him next week. He does those. He's doing a theater here, and again, just him on stage. But the rooms and man, I'm torn though too, because you've seen plenty of comedy live. Yeah. What do you prefer, a theater? I'm turning this interview around on you. Do you prefer
Fully allowed.
theater or a small intimate venue?
I mean, it's a great question, and I think of it the same way I think about music. Like,
Right.
if you asked me what the best show I've ever been to was, like, I was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, in a vegan pizzeria called Veggie Planet, in like a back fucking room with like 30 rickety ass chairs, and it was Clay Cook and not Travis Tritt. I'm gonna forget his name, but like they're basically two adjunct players to the Zac Brown band, and they were doing a solo tour.
Yep.
They were fucking incredible.
Incredible,
and like,
right?
No amps, like just them and two guitars telling stories and singing songs. And like, it was one of those moments where like, this can't be real. It can't be possible that I paid $15 to be here and I get to hear this, and that like the world doesn't know, right? Like it's not possible. And I saw Kendrick Lamar at Ball Arena, which is our big basketball stadium. So it's like 20,000 people. The whole fucking room is shaking, and he's got all the lights and the choreography in a big glass box carrying him around the room. And you're like, this is also awesome, right? Like this is also amazing.
Yeah, that's also crazy.
So like I saw, oh no, me and names today. This is not good. Sam Morril do like a late night spot at the Cellar. So it was like 11:30 on like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so casual, like just hanging on a stool, telling stories. And like, cause I've seen him on Netflix and YouTube, like having that intimacy is so much fun. And then in contrast, like I just went to see Brett Goldstein and he came and played like at the Performing Arts Center. So like soaring balconies and big ceilings, and like he's telling fucking outrageous jokes and the room is cracking up. And like, I don't know if I could pick a favorite. I just appreciate that like the energy you need to bring as a performer is so different depending on the space.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of finding like the performer who brings the right energy for the space the night you happen to be there. And when you're lucky enough to like have those stars line up, oh,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, I definitely prefer a very small room.
Yeah.
Okay, 100. There's a room here we have, it holds 100, and when it's full, the room is just magical. It's, you know, and I really like a comedy club that's a little bit dingy, a little dark wood, that kind of stale beer smell.
Sour beer, 100%.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like sticky floor. Yep.
Right. And like you're right up front and the people are right around you. And, you know, I don't know. As a comic, I would rather do a small room. I just did a theater in Rhode Island. I was at the Rogue Comedy Festival, and it was
cool.
like 500 sold out. It wasn't, you know, huge for me. It was, you know, pretty big.
500 sold out's a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
It was, it's hard. I don't know. I'm not a crowd work comic. So for me, I guess it was okay. But if you're a crowd work comic, you're going to get eaten up in the theater.
Yes.
It's just not as intimate as when they're right in front and they're talking to you and they're looking at you. And yeah, you're right. I guess there is a huge mix in that. Shit, I'll do theaters. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
but theaters. No, I'm just
what a cool challenge though, right? Because you get to ask the question like, okay, like maybe some of my facial expressions aren't going to hit the same.
They're not.
Because 10 rows back can't fucking see it.
They can't see them.
So now I got to be physical with my whole body.
Mm-hmm.
Now what am I doing instead of like, it used to be this face. Now it's this gesture that I'm doing. Right. Like, and I think when you, in my opinion, as an artist, when you get into those questions and you can detach yourself from whether or not you get it perfect or not, but you get to just be curious about like, how do I make this work in a different space? How do I connect to someone who's 5,000 feet away in a balcony way in the fucking back, who frankly I'm more interested in because that person has a shitty seat and still decided to come and see me. Like, how do I get to that person? Like, I think that's where the joy in creating and performing is.
Yeah. Right, because with the concerts, they've got the TV screens, a lot of them, right? But they did for the huge comedy shows, but you're exactly right. It is like you're so disconnected with your facial and your, you know, that they can't see a lot of that. And some of my closers are me being physical.
Right, and so you need some of that, right?
Yeah,
you need some of that.
Yeah,
I'm really curious. Like, if you look back at because you're like 5 years in, 5-6 years in.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you go back and you think about the first year and like what you were kind of like learning, giving yourself feedback on, what you were really working on, and sort of like when you go back and watch a set today, like what were you working on when you just started? What were you like your big areas of growth, and what are you kind of like focused on right now?
Okay, so I did go back recently and watch some of my very first ones I taped, you know?
Yeah.
And the thing that has changed about me, which I knew I had to, is like I found my voice. I'm more physical. I'm definitely more comfortable.
For sure.
I think in the beginning I was more like, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's the huge difference that I see is that my pausing is, you know, so when I pause, how I hold off and I get that applause break. You know what I mean? You know, in the beginning, I was just like, da, 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 and they were like, right. And I'm like, okay. And now, you know, and I'm, you know, and they're like, Cindy, shut up. You're going to get, you know, I mean, I didn't understand any of that in the beginning, you know, and last night, I was telling those stories. I'm like, man, I got to figure something out. And I would just like tell the story and I would do like some type of a closing line and I would just like drop the mic and go. And then they would all be like, you know, it's just, and I'm like, it probably wouldn't have worked if I was just okay now and then moved on. But it was me just making that face like, can you believe this shit is my life? You know?
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
It makes a huge difference.
Oh my
and
God,
I didn't do any of that in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, if I had more stage time, you know, because I'm up here in Rochester and it's super tough. If I was in the city more, New York, you know what I mean? I would have more. But man, if I still have so much growing to do. I am probably at 40% of what I could be.
Does that feel motivating or does that feel scary?
It's motivating because I know, like, when I'm going to be in New York City most of November, and I've got, you know, a few shows, you know, shows lined up down there. And I know when I'm done and I'm ready to come back to Rochester, I am like so good. Like my bits are just like bam, bam, bam. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I am
Tight.
on.
Yeah.
I'll come back. I'll go 2-3 weeks. If I go to an open mic, it's 4 minutes. You know what I mean? Plus, yeah, I'm just not the same. And I completely like feel like I regress. I'm old too. I can't remember my shit, man. I feel like if I did get, like, if someone did take me on the road and I could feature like 2, 3, 4 shows a weekend, I would level up unbelievably.
course.
I know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Because it is a muscle and you've got to practice. And, you know, it is. I'm trying to think, like, is there anybody that can just not do comedy for 3 months and then just jump on stage and, you know, be right back in it? They're like, oh, it's just like riding a bike. Maybe for you, but not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I think a couple of people have done it, like Ellen DeGeneres jumped back in after months and months away, years and years away. Like, but I know she also, she may be the exception. I think she literally did like a show and then just jumped back in, which does mean like there are people who God is just like, you are funny. Like, this is just going to be it's
crazy.
Your thing.
I know it. I know. And then there's comics that right now are just like on the road hammering out 5 shows a weekend to get ready for their next special. Right. I know Fortune Feimster's going out with her new hour. I just saw Chelsea Handler do her new hour.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Joe Coy. I bet you he's working on a new hour.
For sure.
Wanda Sykes tickets for here go on sale tomorrow. I bet you should. So, man, it's, just Eliza, another one of my favorites. She's at the Comedy Store. She does those 15-minute sets constantly. You know, she's just piecing a new hour. But you are right. Ellen probably did not go to any club and work on her shit. Seinfeld still goes to the Cellar. I've seen him pop in. I've seen him pop in at Gotham.
Yep.
Right? Louis C.K., I see him. I see those guys all pop in at the Cellar and they're working on new stuff. And it's always funny to see them not so funny.
Right.
They're like, all right, I throw the paper away. Okay, here we go. It's, you know, it makes it so real to know that, man, that shit ain't going to work right now. And they know it. And it's so cool to watch them work it out.
Yes. Yeah. It also speaks to, I think, the fact that like comedy's just in such a different place. Like 15, 20 years ago, there was no space for like, what do you mean you're working on jokes? Like, you're funny or you're not. Like, I think people were so much less interested in, again, like, who is the person? What is the process? How does this craft actually work? Whereas now I think it's so normal for people to talk about when they're working out material, how they fold in new jokes with old ones. Like, how do they win back a crowd who they were experimenting with and it didn't go great. And now it's like, I think it's Bill Burr has talked about, he actually loves losing a crowd because killing is not hard for him. He knows he can go in and kill a room. Can he win a room back is now his question. Like, I fucking love that. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Another one of the greats.
Yeah, he's incredible.
And also, I was never a huge fan of Bill Burr. He lost me at a special where he did so much material about fat people. And it just got like so redundant. I'm like, all right, dude, come on, you know? But because now that I work with a lot of like headliners, females, what he does for female comics is unbelievable.
Oh, cool.
So now he gained all my respect because he is a champion for female comics from what I've heard. So right there, I'm like, all right, I respect him right there. You know? You know what I mean? This was a very old special that I did watch. And, you know, I mean, comedy's subjective too. There's plenty of comics that I just don't think are great that are the hottest right now.
Right.
It's what you like, you know? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Who do you, I guess, like, I'm always curious because I think there's who do you most enjoy watching, which is like when you allow yourself to just go back to being a fan of like who's
Oh
just
yeah.
fucking fun. And then there's like, I love to watch this person because I learn so much because they're so good at what they do. Like,
Yeah.
who are those people for you right now?
So somebody that I constantly see, no matter what, whenever they're close, is Jessica Curson. She's a huge crowd work fan, crowd work comic on top of her material. I'm scared to do crowd work. Can you imagine? I have like, I don't shut up. What the hell? But when I get on stage and I'm like, so what do you do I'm just like, I don't know what I'm in my head. I don't know. I'm trying to bring people in right now to my jokes.
Yeah.
And, work on doing crowd work. So anybody that does a lot of crowd work like that and do it brilliantly
Yeah.
and not be offensive is right.
Yeah.
And I love her. I love Emma Willman. She's another one. I love her energy. Wanda Sykes' last special was
Awesome.
just right. I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen her live like 4 times.
Oh, wow.
But this last special on Netflix, I was blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away at how good it was.
Yeah.
Chelsea Handler's last hour, it's not out yet. So good.
Mm.
And the storytelling and the long periods of time she did without telling jokes, but kept us captivated, talking about her stories about her dogs and going on vacation with her sisters. I mean, it was just basic, but so good. Am I watching any men? I need to watch Shane Gillis. Are you a Shane Gillis fan? He was the one that got booted off. Remember, he made it on Saturday Night Live and then he got canceled. It was during the big cancel thing.
I hadn't made that connection.
That's what blew him up.
I do this and it's really not fair. It's not like this is like very much a millennial thing. If I'm not enjoying myself 5 minutes in, boy, do I have a hard time sticking around. And it's
that's
not
my
fair.
Attention deficit thing, even though I'm a boomer, late Gen Xer. It's this, same thing.
And I know it's not fair. I know that so much work went into the whole special and that I'm missing out on a lot. And you know what? Like, I'm subject to the same shit. If people don't like the first 8 seconds of my song, they don't fucking listen.
I love doing this podcast, but before I got into podcasting, storytelling was really my first love. It was the first thing I had the courage to get up and do on stage. And as a result, it always has a very, very special place in my heart. On November 2nd of this year, 2023, I released my debut album called Integration, and storytelling is really, really at the heart of it. It's only 30 minutes long. It's a really personal sort of tale about my journey through being an artist and being creative, so much of what I talk about here on the podcast. If you're willing, I would be so grateful if you would just take the time to listen to it. And if you can, top to bottom once through, it's only 30 minutes. I think it's a beautiful story. I'm very, very proud of it, and I hope you love it. Thank you.
I don't know. So I think I turned on Shane's special, and this one is probably more controversial. Like, I've watched the first 5 minutes of Theo Von specials, and I've heard so many people say he's so fucking funny and he's so good. And I'm just like,
he's a podcast. He's an amazing podcaster.
And maybe that's his lane and he found it through comedy and that's beautiful. But it is one of those funny moments where it's like, I know so many people truly love this. And I don't. And you know what? Like, as an artist, I have to tell myself that all the time. My shit can't be for everyone, nor can his. So it's
comedy's subjective. I don't think
subjective.
Joe Rogan's Netflix special was funny at all.
Yeah.
And come on, Joe Rogan, every male comic I'm surrounded by thinks he's God. You know what I mean? Right. And I'm just like, for me, growing up, that's another thing. I didn't have any female comedian role models to look up to when I was young. I had Joan Rivers, and she was on The Tonight Show.
Right.
Right. And I come from a very huge comedy, love, sitcom comedy, you know what I mean? Family.
Yeah.
So my mother would be watching The Late Night Show, watching Joan. We would watch Maude. You know what I mean? Like these very old Mary Tyler Moore TV, but comedian females, I can remember first time I saw like Roseanne Barr in the early 80s, I was like, oh my God, she is so funny. Like, where did this come from? Right. Then she got the TV show before she went. At one time, she was a beast. Trust me. You know what I mean? No, right.
Undeniably. Everyone still knows her name. Like, I'm sure there's a cutoff of age at some point, but like, right. I'm 36. I think anyone who is 30 or over, even I never watched the show. I still know who she is. Like, that's how prevalent she was.
She was. And, and she's, I hate that she's kind of like, I don't know what's happened to her, but I still have to respect that she did make a path for females in comedy.
No question.
Rita Rugger? I remember her, but it was all men, man. I was surrounded. Eddie Murphy, all those guys, Richard Pryor. I mean, the greats. Yes. I saw Rodney Dangerfield live in Vegas. I saw Buddy Hackett live in Vegas, Chevy Chase. I mean, and I was like, man, there was no females.
Yeah. It was a very different world. If you could open for anyone on tour, who would you want to open for? Which I feel like is a different question than who do you enjoy? Because now like I have to actually align with their audience, right, like, and it has to make sense.
Yeah. Oh man, I do often. I'm a huge read the room person. I don't sit in the green room. I sit out in the audience.
Interesting.
And I gotta see. I watch them all walk in. Because I've changed my whole set last minute because I'm like, there's no way these people will die a slow death if I talk about my first doll being a blow up doll. I mean, they're not going to be okay. Also, if it's a very young room, I'm like, all right, let me pull out all my jokes where I rip on you millennials because I own two of you. You know what I mean? And they love it. I rip on them. So for me, who would I hate to say this. I would probably kill with Theo Von's people.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because the best I do is in an American Legion, sold out, 300 people in one of these little American Legions in Sterling, New York. There's nothing else to do. And the whole trailer park comes. And they're my people.
Yeah.
And they get me. I say the less teeth in the room, the better I do. They're my people. That's just, awesome. White, what is it called? The blue collar, just working folks that, and anything goes. They don't have, So I would probably do very well with Theo's crowd, right? He's, that dude.
Yeah.
Geez, who else? Probably Bill Burr's people are probably like that. You know what I mean? It's just a very anything not in California. Seriously,
West Coast.
Yeah, I know. It's just so different, man. New York and West Coast comedy, man. It's like two different people, East and West. Two different styles, a lot of them.
I mean, I think the whole country gets carved up, right? Because like if you go down to the Southeast, that's going to be very, very different than the East Coast, sort of north of Virginia.
The Midwest are my people. Those are my people. I want to be right in the middle.
Yeah.
Everybody. Chicago. You know how many people told me they would love you in Chicago? Yeah.
I lived there for 9 years. So my vote. Spend some time there. I think it would go great.
Yeah, but I just did comedy in Rhode Island, and I was sitting out there watching everybody come in, and I'm like slowly panicking, okay, because I'm like, oh my God, they're all older, upper class white people. Those are not my people normally. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to eat shit. I'm going to and I was so wrong. Like these people were so ready to laugh. The crowd was so hot. So I was very thankful.
Yeah. Yes.
But, I mean, we all know our demographics sometimes, so.
It's true. Although
and I need to hit them all. We'd try.
Well, you try, right?
Right.
Something I find so interesting, like Mike Birbiglia talks about this all the time. Like, how often people are like, oh my God, shows in Nebraska must be misery, or like it must suck to go to Georgia. He's like, no, actually it's awesome. And like maybe he doesn't get what he gets at a New York show, where he might get one kind of connection with the crowd or be able to angle something in a certain way, but maybe he gets to play in Georgia in a way he doesn't get to in New York. And like, again, if you love the craft, you don't give a fuck. Like it doesn't, I don't need it to all look this way. I don't need it to only hit this way. Like if anything, I love the game of like, cool, where are you at? Where am I at? And where do we meet? Like, how do I make this material fit into the world that you want to see and be in for the next hour? And let's have a great fucking time. Like that's the whole game.
That's when I did level up, is when I did finally start writing enough material where I could turn. Because before, if I lost him, I'm like, all right, I got nothing but this dark shit here. And now I know I can turn it around. You know what I mean? And I can bring much lighter. I hate to say it, but for me, I kind of say, okay, I'm going to do my hacky shit tonight. It's just so simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just simple, and it kills sometimes.
Yeah.
Other times in New York, they want it to be a little more deeply written. You know, it's more. Yeah. So that's when it helped a lot. It was when I learned to read the room right there. Totally. Simple. Read the room.
Yeah. Yeah. It's read the room. And I also like, maybe New York is an exception, but like, I have so enjoyed watching the fervor around Ted Lasso for the last 5 years. Because
I don't know about that show. Is it that good? I need to watch that show.
You should absolutely watch it. And like, it is such a good reminder that like, as much as we can appreciate darkness and edge and etc., like we want good guys to win. Like as just human beings, like we just have a streak where we want good people to do well. And like, it's funny to me that is now the edgy side of like wanting to go into like jokes that aren't super sophisticated, aren't so complicated or so this, that, but like people just want to fucking laugh. Like that's why they're there. You know, it's like, it's a little bit of an escape. So like, just let them have it. Like,
so the best advice I was ever given by a female headlining comic, right, I was opening for, she said to me, she said, your job is to make these people laugh tonight. Yes. It's not about you. It's not about your material. Right. It's not about how amazing you think you wrote this joke. If they, you know, oh, well, they're not laughing. No. She said, you get up there and you tell that joke you've been telling over and over because you know it's going to kill. It may not be the deepest written. Doesn't matter, because your job is to make them laugh. It's not about you in your writing. Right. It's about them. Yes. It's about them. Yes. And I was like, damn right. And it made sense, right? And I probably the same for you, you know, rapping, singing. You're like, oh, do I really have to do this fucking song one more time? Please let me do new stuff. They're not there for that shit, dude. They want same thing. And you suck it up and you sing that song like it's the first day you ever sang that song.
Yes. Yeah. And the good news is, like, as soon as you're up there and you see the reaction, you remember why.
Yeah.
Because when you're backstage and you're like, this is boring, I'm not engaged, I'm not having fun, blah, 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 blah. But like, I think at our core, if you are a performer, like you have to do it for other people. Like
they paid to see you. They paid to laugh. They paid to hear your hits. Yes. Sometimes, you know what I mean? So I understand. Of course, you want to go up and you want to do your new songs. I would love to go up and try my new material. Just stick it in the middle.
Right.
And keep them happy. Give them the new one, you know, the most popular at the beginning and your best at the end. And stick your new songs in the middle.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, believe me, I totally get it.
You know?
And it becomes a conversation, right? You know, it's like I had a conversation with another comic a couple of weeks ago who's brilliant, and she was talking how important trust is. And it's like, you can actually do your new stuff. You can actually try, you can fucking fail. You can fall on your face if you have honored the fact that they came, that they paid, that they're here to laugh, and that is your job. And if you open in a way that invites them in and says, I'm going to take care of you, I understand why you're here, and we're on the same team. Once they bought into that, do whatever the fuck you want, because they're going to follow you. Mm-hmm. If you come in and being like, I have an agenda and I need you to come with me, people are like, no. Like, that's what I did at my job all day and what I do at home with my family all day. Like, I'm here for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I need you to bring me into your world.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so, I mean, once I did learn that, because I was always like, oh, I'm not telling this joke anymore. And everyone's like, I'm like, I can't do it. They're like, it's like
It
this
kills.
that kills. You've got to, I'm like, ugh. But then I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? They paid to laugh, and I'm gonna do whatever I can. And I have done new stuff, and I'll tell them. Either after the joke, I'll be like, that was all new. Thank you for sticking with me. You know what I mean? You guys are great. Stuff like that, where they're just like, oh, yeah, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. Did that eat shit? Good, because don't follow me. I'll say
Definitely
something,
avoid me.
right,
Yeah.
right, avoid me. But yeah, I mean, I stick it in the middle, and I tell them straight out, like, hey, that was a new joke. Thank you. Did that ending work?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, you know what I mean? Sometimes, should I keep this? They love that too. Cause like, they're like, oh, we're working together here.
Totally.
Like we are like school.
Oh, that's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
When I ask them, do I keep this joke? And they're like, yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome. So, one final question. If it were October 26th, 1 year from now, so 2024, like, what is your dream scenario? Where are you? What are you doing? What's happening with your comedy?
Okay, so I mean, there's a couple. In 1 year, probably would never happen. It's not possibly in 1 year. I would love to be on the road featuring for someone. I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to be headlining, because that, let's be logical. I mean, I'm logical. I don't, you got to have some goals that you can obtain. Otherwise, life, my bucket list it'll never happen.
Never shrinks. Yep.
Never. Right. I would love to, be featuring, but also, I would love if I had more opportunities to work on like sitcom type, like Netflixy type things, where I can be my character. I've had few people approach me. I did a pilot for Amazon. I was on Game Theory on HBO. And it's just because they saw me on stage and they're like, we like your personality. Big picture, it would be amazing if I could write a dark Netflix show about my life growing up. Like that would be like huge.
Cool.
But I don't know how to write, and I need to hire, and it's just But
you got time?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, we'll see. I don't got a lot of time, son.
But like, what's so great about that is it makes it so much easier for you to just make the fucking ask.
Right. It's, and it's so weird because every bit that I do, I can see the whole 30-minute episode. You know what I mean? And
sure.
I see it. Can other people see it? I don't know. Well, many people have came up to me after my show and they're like, are you going to write up? A lot of people have asked. I'm like, honey, I can't even read. I'm severely dyslexic, and I will have to have like the big, like 20 ghostwriters, like me, just like cleaning up my mess. Yeah. But it's my story, and
I encourage you to hold the intention, because as I have told you, like, I've heard a lot of storytellers, a lot of comedians. I have never heard that story, and particularly because I feel like this country still struggles with this weird taboo around sex, where we all know we have it and we all know we enjoy it, and we pretend it's evil and bad and dark. And getting to actually hear from someone who grew up in the quote unquote industry.
Yeah,
of
it's
it
so fun. I mean, we laughed about it. It was, I come from a huge family that, we would be at a family member's funeral and we are laughing our ass off. It's a big Italian, you know what I mean? Totally. My grandfather, when he died, we were all standing around the coffin at the cemetery. We all went and got dollar bills and we threw them in the hole for the strippers in heaven for Grandpa.
Yeah.
That's my family. And that's a great part of the show.
But like, put that on TV, man. Like, can you imagine?
Just like, there you go, Grandpa. Just yep. Make it rain up there, Grampy.
Oh my God. It's too fucking good. Oh my God. I'm holding out hope that that comes true because I think that would be amazing. I think that'd be amazing. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Cindy, this was wonderful. Thank you again for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so fun. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much for listening today. It is genuinely my pleasure, my joy to share these conversations with you. If you are able, if you're willing, please leave a review, hopefully a good one, on whatever platform it is that you're enjoying these conversations. It really helps us with visibility and having these stories be told to a wider and wider audience. There are many, many ways you can connect with us. The best one, just reach out to stagedivepodcast@gmail.com. You can recommend a guest. You can give us feedback. You can send us memes, whatever would make you happy. Thank you again for being here. My name is Jack Dawkins, and we'll see you again soon.